Yes. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can everybody access my screen? It's still loading, okay? Like my network is a little bit slower today. This one you can access my screen. Let me know. It's on? Okay, everybody can access my screen and you can also hear me. Can you also hear me? Please put your earpiece and find out whether you can hear me with the earpiece.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So let's start immediately.
Yes, I can.
Today we are going to be looking at conditional statements. We're going to be looking at the if statement, the if-else statement, the elif statement. We're going to be looking at the logical operators as well as the comparison operators. That's what we're going to be looking at today. You remember we started with variables. These are the variables. We looked at strings. We looked at tuples. We looked at sets. We looked at lists. And finally, yesterday evening, we looked at dictionaries. So today, we're going to be looking at the conditional statements. And for us to start, we do the same thing. Please, if you've not been following us, in the description part of this video on YouTube, our YouTube channel is Tclassified.com. In the description part of this video, I will give you the link to all the things we've done so far so that you look at them and you'll be able to follow us effectively and enjoy the class. So like I said before, we looked at variables, we looked at strings, we looked at lists, we looked at tuple, sets, and dictionary. And today we're going to be looking at conditional statement, the if-elif statement. So to start immediately, we simply hover over our folder, which is Python tutorial folder that we had created initially. So we're going to go to new file. Then once we click on new file, we're going to simply type conditionals.py. That's going to be the name of the file that we're going to be working with today. And once you write that, you're going to see it's opened up in the editor. And like I normally do, I'm going to start with defining what these conditionals that we are considering today, what are they? And I'm going to be doing that using what we call a comment. So we're actually looking at the if-else statement. So we can also call it if-else conditions. And what are they? They are actually what used to perform a certain action if a condition is met. So if a condition is true, that action is performed. If it is not, that action is not performed. So that's what you use if-else to do. So there must be a condition that has to be checked. So if it brings a boolean of true, then the next block of code is performed. If that condition is not met, that block of code is not performed. So we use if-else statement. So decide.
Sir, we are not seeing you yet, sir.
You're not seeing?
Okay, you are back now. Sir, we lost you before now.
You lost me before now. But now, can you see me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I continue now?
Sir.
Okay. So you can use the if-else statement to decide to do something based on a condition being true or false. So that's what we can do with if statement. So we check whether a condition is true or false. If it is true, we do one. If it is not, we either do the next or we don't do anything at all. And for us to practicalize this, we are going to declare two variables. So I'm going to say age underscore. Which person am I going to be using? Age underscore Kashmir. Age underscore Kashmir. I want to put Kashmir's age. Kashmir, what's your age? 17. Good. And we're going to declare another variable, and that is going to also be age underscore Abdulmumin. What's your age? Abdulmumin, what do I abbreviate your name to? Abdul, can I? Okay, Abdul. And I'm going to say equal to, you say your age is what? 16. So we have very, very young tabs here. So we have age, the age of Abdul and Kashmir. You can see my variable names. I can use underscore with them, and they are starting in letters. Variable names can start in letters and underscores. And what kind of variables are we having here? Who can tell me? What kind of variables are these? What data type are they having?
Integer.
Integer. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody is responding very well from the online, and I'm enjoying it. So before we can test out these very conditions, it's very important that we understand what we call comparison operators, because those are the things that we're going to be using to check out this condition, comparison operators. And what are these comparison operators? We have something we call the equal to. That is how you write it. It has to be double. If you write one single equal to, it simply means you are assigning a value. But if you want to check whether something is equal to, in Python, you use double equal to. This place that we use single equal to for Kashmir equal to 17, we are simply assigning the value of 17 to a variable Kashmir. We are not checking whether it's equal to, but as a comparison for checking, you use double equal to. Is that clear? So we're going to be looking at not equal to, not equal to. That's how you check if some things are not equal. Then we also have what we call the greater than, and we have the what? Less than. And we also have the greater than or equal to. Then we have the less than or. So what are these comparative operators used to do? They are actually used to compare values. So we can use them to compare values. And we're going to practice this to learn. So we are starting with the first one, which is actually a simple if. Let's check out a simple if statement and see how it goes. So to write an if statement, please check out the syntax. You simply say if. Then you talk about the what do you want to compare. We earlier declared some variables, isn't it? So we want to check the age of Kashmir. We're checking Kashmir's age, and we're comparing to know whether Kashmir's age is greater than age underscore Abdul. Because I have my code completion, I can easily say this. So that's what we are checking. So immediately after writing your conditions, please put a colon. Please put a what? Colon. Then when you go down indented, you must go down indented. You must go down what? Then you now perform the code that you want to be done. If this condition of Kashmir 8 being greater than Abdul is true, this is what you want to perform. And you simply want to print out, and you're printing out using F string. You're printing out using what? We already learned what F string is, isn't it? So operating are using F string. So if you want to bring in a variable inside F string, what do you bring it in? With a curly brace. Is that what we said? So we are bringing in age of Kashmir, which is age underscore Kashmir. Then we'll close the curly bracket, and we want to simply say that the age of Kashmir is actually what? Greater than what? The age of Abdul. So how do we bring Abdul variable in? Simply put a curly bracket and we'll say age underscore what? Abdul. You can see it's already there. So I can now close the curly brace You can see the way I just wrote it. So if Kashmir age is actually greater than Abdul age, I will see Kashmir's age is greater than Abdul age. But if this is not true, nothing will be run. But if you want something to run if it is not true, that means you're going to use the if-else statement. So let's try the only if. When you are using the only if statement, what is going to happen is that once it checks the condition and it's not true, it's not going to run. Is that clear? Nothing will happen. But if it checks it and it's true, it will do something. So that condition, is it true or false? Class, is that condition true or false? It's true, isn't it? Because Kashmir's age is, yeah, Kashmir's and Abdul's age is what? 16. So it's supposed to run. So what do? I do Control S to save. Then I come to my console to run. What do? Python what? Python space what? Good. Conditional. Is it conditional or conditionals? Conditional.
Conditionals.
Yeah, conditionals.py. So I'm going to run this, and you can see 17 is greater than what? 16, because Kashmir's age is all 17 and Abdul's age is 16. Isn't it interesting? So let's say now, let's change this condition and see what's going to happen. So to change it, I simply come here. Instead of making Abdul age that is 16, let's say Abdul is now older and Abdul is 20. Once I change it, I do Control S to change. Then I come back here and run this code again. You will see that nothing will happen. Can you see that nothing happened? Can you see that nothing happened? Nothing happened. But if I change it back again to what? 16 and do Control S to save, then come back here and run again, I'm gonna see my 17 is greater than 16. Please, class and other audience, is this clear?
Clear, sir.
Good. So we're going to move forward to another form of if statement, and that is which other one? We're going to now check if else. Now we are you just changed only one, checked one condition and we did one thing. So we want to be able to do this or that. If it is true, you do something. If it is false, you do something else. So that's why we're going to be checking if else. So I'm going to use comments to tell us what we want to be doing, and that is what? No longer the simple if. We are trying to check the words if, comma what? Else. Okay, Odinaka is raising his hand. Odinaka, just wait a minute. Because of our network, let's just rush through it and we can have time to ask questions. Please don't be angry. I don't want network to take us out again. So let's check out if else statement. So how do we go about this? Just the same way we did the other one. That's the way we go about this. But then we now have to add else statement. So I'll simply say what? If so are we together? I simply say if age underscore Kashmir, which is already showing me here, is what? Greater than age underscore who? Abdul. So if that is the case, what do? I'm still going to use the what? The printf statement, which is the F string formatting. So what do I do with that? I'm going to say just the same thing we said before. We're going to say that the age is greater than the other one. Otherwise, we say the other one is greater than, is less than. So what do we say? We simply say what? Age underscore Kashmir. Close this up, this literal sign. Then we'll say is greater than the age of who? Age underscore Abdul, and close the literal. So else, what are we going to do? Else, what are we going to do? So to put the else statement, make sure you're on the same line as the if. So you simply say what? Else. And after saying the else, you must put the word colon. Make sure you do that. If you don't, will not do well. So we simply say print, and we also use the what? The F string formatting to put. So what do we do now? It will now be the reverse. We can now say that age of what? Make sure you put it in this. You can now say that age of who? Abdul this time around is greater than the age of who? Kashmir. Can we understand this code? Is it clear? So I'm gonna Control S to save this, and quickly I'm gonna do what? Run it. So you can see it is written here, 17 is greater than 26, because actually Kashmir age is actually greater than Abdul's age. But now, if I now change this to 21, so it must do something as well, but it will not gonna tell me that 21 is greater than 17. So if I come back here now and run again, I can now see that 21 is greater than 17. Please, class, is this clear? I'm going to allow us to ask. Iboko, you can ask your question now before we continue.
Yes, I was having a problem with that printf statement.
Okay. So what problem
I don't
is
even
that?
know about it. What's in the
Huh?
first?
What problem are you having with it, actually?
What exactly is the printf statement used for?
Okay.
What is the printf statement used for?
Okay. It's a way of.
Can I use it?
Okay, you cannot. Okay, you can always use the printf statement when you want to do string formatting. If you want to bring strings together, like now you're having how many string here? You're having is greater than, and you're having this variable age Kashmir and age Abdul. You want to bring them together. So instead of doing the normal concatenation, which you can also do here also, you use string formatting. So it makes the work a little bit more easier. And we actually looked at it when we were doing strings. So please, if you can check out our video on strings, which I'm going to drop at the comment section of this video on YouTube. The YouTube channel is Tclassified.com. You'll see where I explained how we use F strings. Did I do justice to you, Iboke Odinaka?
Yes, sir.
Good. So let's continue. Let's continue. So now we look at another form of if statement, and it is actually called the elif. So let's look at the Ellipse Statement. So if you have now multiple things you want to do, depending on the condition, you use what we call the elif. You use what we call the what? Elif. So let's take an instance where we have the elif. So if you have if the same conditions that we've been checking, if edge underscore Kashmir is what? Greater than. I hope you know you can just copy and paste down and modify, but I don't want to do that in this class. I want us to do everything from scratch. So underscore Abdul. So if Kashmir's age is greater than that of Abdul, what do I want to happen? Just like what I've always wanted to happen. I want it to simply print that age of Kashmir is greater than age of Abdul. So I'm going to quickly pick this and put it here because we already understand that. Now, for us to use the elif, not just the s, this time around is elif. So you use the word, make sure that the condition is gotten right. So it has to be on the same line. You can see where I'm having on the same line as the if. So I'm simply going to say elif. That is the key word, elif. So what am I checking? I'm not checking whether the age of Kashmir, I'm no longer checking whether it's greater than. I'm checking whether it is equal to. And to check whether it is equal to, like I said, you don't use single equal to, use double. Use single equal to only when you want to assign a value to a variable. But when you're checking whether something is equal, you have to use double equal to. So we are checking whether age Casimir is the same thing as what? Age of what? Abdul. So if this is the case, what would we want to happen in this case? So what I want to happen is to print that both of them are equal. And to do that, I can simply take this same thing, but this time around, when I paste it, I'm going to say from this is greater than, I'm going to simply say is equal to. That's what I'm changing it to. So elif, you do that. So if I still want to do more things, this is elif. It allows you to do plenty things depending on conditions you're checking. So I'm going to now say else, if the two conditions that I've earlier checked are not true. So what do? I now simply print out that Abdul's age is greater than that of what? Casimir. So to do that, I simply say this. So this is what I want to happen. I want to check if Casimir's age is greater than Abdul. I'll simply print that Casimir's age is greater than Abdul. But if Casimir's age is equal to Abdul's age, I'll simply say that, I'll simply print that Casimir's age is equal to that of Abdul. But if neither of this is true, I will not say that Abdul's age is actually greater than Casimir's age. So I'm going to save this. And when I save it, I'm going to run. So if I run, I'm still saying that 21 is greater, which is this last one. Abdul is greater than this. So let's go and change these options. Let's go and change these options. So I'm going to change this option to 21, 21 so that it will be equal, so that I look at what the statement is saying. So if I change it now, you can see I'm having 21. Casimir's age is supposed to be equal to Abdul's age. So if I save this now and go and run again, you are going to see 21 is equal to 21. So I'm running it now. You can see 21 is equal to 21. So this second option is what is running. Then if I go back again and change back Abdul's age to the former, Abdul was 16 and Casimir was actually 17. And I do Control S. So I'm going to still get the first option, which is that 17 is greater than 16. So depending on what you have there, that's what you expected to do. So I hope that is clear. My in-house audience, you have a power outage, so I'm gonna wait more so that my students that are here with me, there's a power outage here so that they can connect. Me, I'm using an internet that is not connected to the power, so I'm still live on. Or is anybody live on other internet? Unfortunately, you're still here. I can still see you. I can still see who again. I can still see some other people. So let's continue. Actually, let's continue since we can see a good number of people. So the next topic we are going to be looking under this is what we call the nested if. That's what we're going to be checking out. So I'm going to now check. We are checking nested if, and I'm going to simply say if age of Casimir. If the age of Casimir is greater than 10, I want to check if Casimir's age is greater than 10. Nested if is when you want to check two conditions using the if statement. And we also want to check if we're checking two things. That same age of Casimir is this time around less than or equal to, if it is greater than 10 and less than or equal to 20. then we want this action to be performed. And what is the action we want to be performed? You can see that we're checking two conditions. And we're going to find out that to check two conditions, you don't need to use this nested if. You simply use what we call conditional operators. And that is the next thing we are looking at. But we want to show you that this is actually possible to use double if to check two conditions. So we are checking whether these two conditions can be met at the same time, which you know is possible. What number can be less than 10 and at the same time be, what number can be greater than 10 and at the same time be less than or equal to 20? From 11 to 19, isn't it? So it's actually possible to have this number. So now, if we check this, we want to use the f-string formatting. So what do we want to print out? We want to simply print out that h_Casimir is what? Is greater than what? 10 and what? Less than or equal to 20. So is greater than what? 10 and at the same time what? Less than or equal to what? Equal to 20. So that is it. So let's check this and see what it gives. So if I do Ctrl S to save and I quickly run this code. So what do I see? 17 is greater than 10 and less than or equal to 20. So 17 is actually a good number that can obey these two conditions, isn't it? I hope that is clear. Is that clear? So we're just using, this is what we call nested if. Nested if, you can actually use it. It's a very good way of checking conditions, but it is not the advised way to do. So the word that is advised is by using what we call logical operators, and we're going to be looking at logical operators. Logical operators. So what are these logical operators? You know that we had earlier looked at what? Which operator did we look at now? What I will just finish. Class, tell me. Huh? What? Ibokwe, are you helping us?
Comparison operators.
Comparison operators, where we looked at equal to, less than, all those things. So now we're going to be looking at logical operators. Logical operators. So what are these logical operators? They are and, or not. That means if a condition is not 8, or if a condition 2 or conditions are obeyed at the same time, or when one condition is obeyed and the other is not. So when you use and, these two conditions must be obeyed, like this Casimir greater than 10 and less than or equal to 20. If you use or, it's only one of them is obeyed and that operation will happen. But if you use and, two of them must be obeyed before the operation will happen. So two of them must return the Boolean value of true before you can have this. But if you use or, once one of them returns the Boolean value of true, this will happen. But if you use not, that means that what you're checking is not actually it's not what the value that you expect. That means you just want to turn it from true to, if it was true, it becomes false, and if it was false, it becomes true. So those are what we call logical operators. So what do we use these logical operators to do? They are used to do what? To combine. You want to combine the conditions you want to check. Use it. So they are used to combine conditional statements. So that's what you use logical operators to do, and we're going to try one. So to try this out, we are going to be starting with the AND operator. So how do we try out with this AND operator? So I'm going to try out the same thing that I did with this nested if. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm simply going to say what? If h_Casimir, like I did here, this nested if, we are rewriting it, but we are using logical operator AND to make it easier. So if age underscore Casimir is greater than what? 10. Then you give space. That's how you use this one. And now use the AND operator. So this condition must be true. And also the next condition I'm going to write must also be true, which is also that age underscore what? Casimir is what? What do I write?
Less than equal to
Thank you. Less than or what? Equal to what? 20.
20.
So if these two conditions are right, so you know once you finish the condition, you must put colon. You must put what? Colon. Remember, you must put colon. Then where you or the operation you want to take place when these conditions are checked has to be indented. So take note of these two things. Very, very important. So we want to do what? Print out. What do we want to print out? Using the F-string formatting. So we want to simply print out what we have here. So I'm just going to copy it because we already learned and know it. So I'm always going to copy when we're already sure of what we want to do. So I copy it and paste. So I'm going to do Control S to save this. And I'm going to come down here and run. So if I run it, you can see that it's doing the same thing. Can you see these two lines are just the same thing? Meaning that these two blocks of codes are performing exactly the same thing. Our class, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Okay. So do we have any questions? Let's take one or two questions before we continue. Any questions? Please, if you are my audience on whether it's YouTube or Facebook Live, and you have any question you want to ask, please drop them in the comment section so that I can look at them and you can join up. Since you cannot talk like the people that are on Zoom, drop them in the comment section. Yeah, so do we continue? Is it clear until now? Okay. So let's check out another. Okay. Thank you, Ibope. Let's take out another logical operator. This time around, we are looking at the OR. So let's look at the OR, logical operator. So what are we checking with the OR? So just the way we have the AND statement, we can simply, we can just copy what we have here because it's simply the same syntax. But in place of AND, we are just gonna change it to what? OR. That's just what we need to do. And also inside the printf statement, what do we check there? What do we check inside the printf statement? I'm simply going to say that it's greater than 2 or less than equal to 10. So we simply change here to OR. So who can tell me? Let somebody check out these conditions and tell me what we are supposed to see. We have if Casimir's age is greater than 10 or Casimir age is less than equal to 20, it should print it. So it's asking if these two conditions, if one of them is true, that it should do this. You understand? In using AND, the two conditions must be true before it will do what is down there. Is that clear? But in using OR, one of them must be true. But now, is one of them true or two of them true? Two of them is true, so it will still do it. You understand? But even if only one is true, it will still do it. Is that clear? So since two of them is true, it will still do it. So we're going to have 3 of these statements down here. So if I save this now and I go back and run this, I'm going to see the 3 of them. You can see that the 3 came out. You understand? But even if now I go back now and change this, which number is greater than, okay, we are considering 17, but Casimir's age is 17. So let's go now and change this to something that will not work. Okay, let's change Casimir's age to 40. What do you think will happen? With the first one, what? Yeah, the first one is true. So what is going to happen if the first one is true? The action will still perform, isn't it? So let's save this and go down and perform and run again. So you can see now we have 40 is greater than what? 10 or less than 20. So the action is still happening, isn't it? Because one is true. Which of the conditions is true, class? Is it the first or the second condition? The first one, because 40 is actually greater than 10. But if none of them is true, so which number will Casimir's age be that none of them will be true? Which number? Which number? 9. Yeah, 9 is less than. Is great. No, yes. 9. Yeah, 9. 9 will work. So if we not change Casimir's age to what? 9, and we'll save. So nothing should be able to happen, isn't it? So if we come here now and run again, this long statement that we are seeing here, we'll not see it again. So we'll run it again. 9 is greater than 10 or less than, equal to this.
9 is less than 20. So I don't think there's any number.
You say?
9 is less than 20.
9 is less than 20. Okay, so it will still work, isn't it?
It's
Because the second condition is
no
still
number.
there. So is there any number that we can pick out that will fail in both conditions? Class, help me out.
No.
Yeah, Ibuka, I'm hearing you. Is there any number we can pick out? No, I don't think. Yeah, good. So it's hard to pick out a number now. Yeah, Ibuka, what do you want to say?
21.
21, okay. So if you pick 21, 21 is greater than 10 already. So this one is also obeyed. Is it? Okay. So if we want to affect any change, you have to change something in the conditions. Abby?
Condition, yes.
Do we get that now?
Yes, sir.
So, but we're not going to change. I'm going to leave you to change the conditions for yourself. So let me return back Abdul's age. What was initial Casimir's age? 17. So let's save it and still run with it so that we can have our complete work the way they are. Good. So that is the OR. So finally for these operators, we are going to be looking at what operator now is remaining, class. Good. We are looking at the NOT operator. So to check this NOT operator, what kind of statement can we use? So we can simply say, if not, then in brackets we'll put the condition. So that's the syntax for using the NOT statement. If not, then in brackets you put the condition you want to check. And what do we want to check? We want to check whether age underscore Casimir is equal to age underscore Abdul. So we want to check whether these two age, and once you know, well, once you finish your if, you must put the word colon. I hope we all know. Must put the word colon. Then we now indent. And what do we want to happen? We want to print out, huh? So what do we want to print? Using the F string. So you can see here that we are combining all these strings together because we are using F string. F string makes it possible to combine strings together without using plus and plenty things. So, and all those single and double quotes. So Ibuke was asking, why are we using F string? F string makes the string to be very readable. So like I said, because he has to check the string.py, this is string.py, and see where we explain that. So once you put, it's very simple syntax to put, just put, before you, once you say print, inside, just write F and put single quote and just bring in any number of string you want to bring. Don't put any other quote, single or double quote. Anything you want to bring, just bring it in. But when you're bringing a variable name, make sure you put the variable name inside a curly bracket. So that's how you use the F string formatting. So what do we want to be said? We want to say that in curly brackets, age of who? Age of who? Abdul or Kashmir? Age of Kashmir is what? Is not equal to bar. Good. Is not equal to what? Age of Abdul. How do I bring in with the curly brackets, isn't it? Good. Age underscore what? Abdul. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to do what? Close the curly bracket. So I'm going to Control S to save. Then I'm going to quickly run. So you can see the row 17 is not equal to what? 16, because that's actually the case, isn't it? Are we together? Are we together? Do we understand this one? It's very, I think this one is pretty easy to understand. So next we are going to be looking at what we call the membership operators. We are going to be looking at what? Membership operators. That's what we're going to be looking at. So what are the membership operators? The membership operators, we are looking at things like whether something is a member of something or not a member of something. So you say not or not in. Those are the two major operators that we use for membership operators. So to use these membership operators, we actually, let's explain what it is. Membership operators. Want to go and pick. So they are actually used to text if a sequence is present in an object. To test if a sequence is present in an object. So that's what we use membership operator to check whether a sequence is present in an object. So let's say we now say ages. You know, we are looking at ages of who and who, Kashmir and who, and Abdul. So let's look at every other ages, not just for Kashmir, for all our class members. And we're going to be putting it in a list. So what ages, Abdul, Ikenna, what's your age? 19. Ikenna is 19. Joshua, 20. Remy, you can give me fake age, don't worry, there's no problem. Remy, what's your age? 20, okay. Ibukwe on the online, what's your age?
18.
Eh?
18.
15? Wow.
18.
18, okay, 18. Okay, I thought you said 15. 15, that means if we are conducting our interview, we will not employ you if you're 15. We employ people that are up to 18. People that can take risks. People that can be sued and be not sued. Yeah, so who else? Fortune, what's your age? Fortune, 19, okay. We don't have adults here. It's like I'm the only adult here. So lastly, let's take Amos, what's your age? 20, wow. So everybody's under 20 here, okay? So that is the age sequence. That's the sequence that's the object we have now. So we're gonna check whether either Kashmir's age or Abdul's age is inside this very object that we have. So what are we gonna be using to check? We are gonna be using the in. So we're gonna be using the in to check this. So how do we use that? We simply say if, what is Kashmir's age? We say age underscore Kashmir. If age underscore Kashmir, what is in ages? We want to check whether it is in ages. If age under Kashmir is in ages, what do we want to do? want to what? Simply print out that age underscore Casimir is actually in what? Ages. That's what we do. So if I simply do what? Save this and run. So what is Casimir age? Is he here? How old is Casimir? Casimir is from here. We have age under Casimir is 17. So it's not here. Abi? So is this gonna run? It's not gonna run back.
No.
So let's run it and see whether it's gonna run or not. So you can see it did not run. It still stopped at not equal to, which was this previous code that we used. Because it had checked and it did not see. What is the other person's name? The mean is 16. Okay, let's now check Casimir, change Casimir's age to, there is 20 there, huh? Good. So let's change Casimir's age to 20. Then we'll save. Then we'll run again. Can see true. Can we see true? Because it has checked it and it's saying it's there. It's now saying true. Is that clear? So that is how you check that. Please, this is in and not in, not and not in. Please take note. This is in and not in, and not and not in. So class, are we together? Is it clear? So I think that's where we are going to be ending. Or do we still look at identity? Okay, we can still look at identity operators. But before we look at identity operators, let's check out the not in. So let's check out not in. So how do we write out the not in? Just the same way, we simply say if age underscore what? Casimir. Instead of saying in, now what do we say? Not in. That's how you say it. Ages. If it's not in ages, what do we do? Class, what do we do? So we simply do what? Print out that what? Age underscore Casimir. Or what? What do we print out? Good. Age underscore Casimir is not in what? Ages. So we'll do Control S to save this. Casimir is still 20 there, but we did not change it. So let's see what's going to happen. So have true, and that means nothing actually happened, isn't it? So nothing actually happened. So let's remove, let's put it back to 17 so that we see what the output is. So if we put it back to 17, we are now going to see something happen. So under this true, we are supposed to see something this time around. We are having true, yeah, because the condition is actually true now because it's not in there. And you know that the other former condition is now false, isn't it? So it has taken out that former true because this other if statement is no longer working. This is the one working. So that is how it works. So what do you pick out from this? You can easily pick out that the in and not in statements, they return a boolean. They return a what? Boolean from if you say print and you put the statement there, it returns a boolean for you. So finally, before we close, let's quickly look at what we call the identity operator. That's the last thing we are going to be looking at today. So what are these identity operators? We are looking at the is and the what is not. So those are the two operators that are called. I think you remember that we checked out the comparison operators. We looked at the equal to, less than, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. We looked at the logical operators, which are the what? And, not, and, or. Looked at the membership operators, which are the in and not in. So now we're looking at the identity operators, which are what? Class, can you tell me? Is and what? Not is. not is. So what do we use them for? We use them to compare the what? Objects. So we use them to compare the objects. So we use them to compare the objects. But this kind of comparison, we are not actually comparing if they are equal or not, but we're actually comparing if they are actually the same type of object. That's what we're checking, not just the value. So we're checking the object type. So with the same memory location.
But if they are equally the same object.
So that's what we check when you use this. I'm gonna lift this to the other side so that you can see what I wrote. So this is what I have, that identity operators, the is or not is used to compare the objects, not if they are equal. We are not comparing whether they are equal. If you want to compare whether they are equal, what kind of operator will you use? Comparison operators, isn't it? But this time around, we are comparing if they are actually the same object with the same memory what location. That's what we're checking. So let's demonstrate this so that we can understand it much better. So the demonstrator will check out the what first, the is. So how do we do this? We simply say if the age of Kashmir is the age of who? Abdul. So that's what we're checking. If the age of Kashmir is the age of Abdul. So if that is true, what do I want to print out? I want to simply print out that what? Age of Kashmir is what? Age of who? Abdul. That's what I want to print out. So if I simply do Ctrl S to save this, then I come down here and run it to return true. To return what? True. Isn't it? Are they the same type? Both of them are what? Integers, isn't it? So let's check out the other one. So which one? Next one do we check out? Check out what? Is not. So how do we check out is not? The same way, simply say if age of what? Kashmir is not what? Age of what? Abdul. Always put a colon once you're done writing your statement. So what do we print out? Print out what? Age of Kashmir is not what? Age of what? Abdul. So I'm gonna simply save this and run it down here. You can see true, true. Okay. So do we have any question? If it's not clear, you can ask me a question so that we can look at it before we close. Yeah. So let me comment this out. I want to check something quickly. I'm going to comment this out and I'm going to say Ctrl S and I'm going to rerun. Okay. So we're having our true, true. So this did not actually run. So who can explain to me why this did not actually run and this one ran through? I want a very intelligent student to tell me what really happened for these identity operators. can do that, and the person that can get this gets a recharge card of 200 naira now. So it's a bonus. So let me relax and get somebody to do this and get me the answer. Abraham, come and get me a recharge card 200 MTN. I hope everybody is using MTN. I'm not advertising for MTN, but I think that's what most people use. Somebody should tell me what really happened in these identity operators, because the explanation we gave is not actually correct. Please buy me MTN 200. So crack your brain and give me somebody should explain it.
So, can I explain?
So the person that gets it should just chat me up on WhatsApp. I hope all of you have my WhatsApp number. Let me just write it immediately. Chat me up. Once you get it, you chat me up on WhatsApp. I'll give you this MTN 200. So my phone number is plus, in case if you are not in Nigeria, plus 234-70671-62698. So that's my phone number. So please WhatsApp me. Once I tell you that you got it, that's when you now WhatsApp me. Please, if you are not the person, don't WhatsApp me and confuse me. Don't confuse me. I don't want to be confused. So the floor is open. Anybody that can answer yes? No. I want you to answer online. They are not saying that you're answering. Are you connected to Zoom? So I have my student here with me in Tclassified here wants to answer. But I want him to answer online so that you people will know that we're not doing Ojoro. Let him answer from online so that not if somebody gets it, you say nobody got it actually. So Amos, you want to try? But I'm not seeing you on the. Okay, let me.
Can I try, sir?
Who want to try? Ibuke?
Ola.
Ola. Oh yeah, Ola, yes, try. Try first before Amos that is here will try.
Yeah, it's returning nothing because the both conditions satisfies each other. It's the if 8 Kashmir is 8 Abdul, yeah. Print 8 Kashmir is 8 Abdul.
Yeah.
They satisfy each other, so that's why it's bringing nothing.
So if it's categorized that, it's actually supposed to bring nothing. I'm not. It's actually supposed to bring something and not bring anything. So somebody else should try. Yeah, Kashmir wants to try, but before Kashmir, let Amos try. Since Amos raised it. Amos, we are not hearing you from online. I want to hear you from online so that they'll. Is anybody okay? It's like you've not muted. Amos, you know, Maba. Okay, you're muted already. So why are we not hearing you? No, can't hear you. Increase your volume very well. Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
For Abdul is 8 Asmel and H Abdul. For the print, I think the command is not correct. Before the print, it's a hashtag there.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay. So this is the hashtag. No. That's not it. We actually just commented. Please remove your district so that it's echoing. Put back your ear. Yes. Did everybody notice what he answered? I think that's not the correct thing because I later commented it out, isn't it? So who can still give us the answer? Yes, Kashmir, you can try now. Huh? Okay, I'll still checking. Oh, yeah. So who else can try? Or should I load this card on my phone? I've already gotten the card.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Who is on the line?
Ola on the line again.
Okay, Ola on the line. Okay.
Yes, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if I made myself clear, but the condition is if 8 Kashmir is 8 Abdul,
okay,
which 8 Kashmir is not 8 Abdul.
Okay.
So it cannot print 8 Kashmir is 8 Abdul.
Thank you. You just hit the nail at the point. You just hit the point at the nail. You just said the right thing. because age Kashmir is not actually age Abdul. You understand?
Yes.
You remember that we say it's not comparing equal to. You understand? But it's actually it's not. This statement simply means that it's not just comparing only equal to. It's comparing whether it's equal to and also whether the data types are the same thing.
And in the same memory.
Yeah, which making it to take the same memory. You understand?
Yeah.
So two of them cannot take the same memory, and that's why that one did not run.
Thank you, sir.
Class, is that clear now? So, Ola made a very good attempt. So, Ola, please just start me up. I'll send this to you now. So, thank you and God bless you. We're going to continue in the evening. Let me rest more. We'll continue in the evening. Thank you. If you have any questions, some people had problems connecting and sorting out other problems. Please, you can do that now. Work on your problem so that evening class will be easier for you. Yes, Ibope, please ask your question before I run off.
Okay, so I did not understand that explanation at Olage. How the comparing objects and not with their equal. I did not really get that explanation at Olage.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I did not really understand the answer at Olage.
Okay, you did not answer the okay. Ola actually said that age Kashmir is not age Abdul. And that's why this print age Kashmir is age Abdul did not attribute anything in the console. That's what he's saying.
Speaking identity operators only compare if they have the same variable, like if they're both integers or something like that. Not identity operators though.
It's not age Abdul because both of them are not occupying the same memory location.
They are not even equal.
And they are not also equal. No, he did not just did not attribute it. Ibuka, are we clear? Okay. So let me still, I'll still give you this as an example. Please, let's read this off and give a better explanation in the next class. Please, let's work on this. Let's read it up and let's look at it in the subsequent class that we have in the evening. Thank you.